UB40 stands for Unemployment Benefit Form 40.
Oh,
and
okay.
It is. It's a great testament to the universality of music that, in my estimation, one of the top 3 reggae groups of all time was English.
UB40. It's true. I mean, you're right. I thought it was unemployment benefit £40.
No, unemployment benefit form 40 was the form that you would fill.
Wow.
You know?
But if you get a Ghanaian £40, they'll take it. I mean, that's like, how much is the dollar right now? The pound right now is
around 6
something. 4,624.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. We could have sent that anyway. So that was UB40.
Charlie, we have to do a UB42.
Is it? But how many songs do they have? red wine and this song.
Aloski, don't.
Plenty. Charlie, I know they for.
You know, Ali Campbell is one of my all-time great band leaders.
Who is Ali Campbell?
The leader of UB40, the guitarist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ali Campbell is a great guy. Singing the thing like them born them for Kingston.
So they are British people.
Yeah, they were made up of Indians,
like
Yemeni, you know,
from different
they came from all places, but they all grew up around the South Birmingham area.
Oh,
and
is it?
Ali Campbell in an interview, I recall.
So they're from the Midlands.
Yeah, he said he grew up with the first batch of the Windrush kids.
There are a lot of Caribbean people.
Exactly.
So he got the
vibe early.
Serious reggae vibe.
Early.
No, you're a big man. All right. Good morning. So let's get into the newspapers. What are the headlines?
Front page of the Daily Graphic. Bernard, power bill relief takes effect. Exercise to cost government 1 billion Ghana cedis. Nice photo of Mr. Kwame Ajimambudu, CEO of the ECG. Murdered pensioner was a biochemist. His photo is here. 17 Burkinabe, 1 Ivorian illegal immigrants arrested. And Fidelity Bank supports infectious disease facility with 1 million Ghana cedis.
The Ghanaian Times confirmed COVID-19 cases jumped to 2,719. 294 recover, 18 die. COVID-19 update. Government shows leadership in managing the economy. This is Vice President Baumia. Ga Traditional Council places ban on drumming, noise making May 11. And mandatory mask wearing starts tomorrow in Accra to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Front page of the Daily Guide. Human blood in gallons. Killer fetish priest confess. And this story was on the front page yesterday. Bernard, I started following it outside of the news yesterday. Bernard, this is another Dr. Beckley.
Wow.
Even Dumso you couldn't manage. Baumia Japs Mahama. COVID-19 now 2,719.
Now, if you check the Chronicle, go away Chronicle is not invited. Please sack reporter over money doubling saga. Steel companies increase prices of products despite 50% power supply. I was referring to this yesterday, Bernard. So if you're buying iron rods, you should find some more money to pay more. Okuapem Hima snaps Okuapem Hine's coronation. And China must apologize to Africa over inhumane treatment.
Baumia hits back at Mahama, says his West Crisis Manager is the front page of the ABC News. And also they say $10 billion needed to permanently fix Ghana's perennial flooding problem.
Now the finder, NPP is better than NDC in managing crisis. This is Dr. Baumia speaking. Ghana's confirmed COVID-19 cases hit 2,719 with 294 recoveries. And all 7 COVID-19 patients at Kolebu recover, discharged.
Front page of the Daily Statesman this morning. Stop embarrassing yourself. Baumia Japs Mahama over uninformed statements on economy. COVID-19, 30 million lose jobs in America is here. And also says keeping faith with the people. 10 youth sports resource centers ready soon.
The new weekend crusading guide. Baumia punches Mahama again, charges him to rely on data before delivering speeches. Okoye Jr. fights back, rubbishes Adrasafo's allegations. And the crusading guy says they are increasing their prices from 2 cedis 50 pesos to 3 cedis starting Wednesday. Now, the Daily Post. Coronavirus. Ghanaians roast Baumia on social media for attempting to challenge Mahama's assertion that Ghana's economy is in ICU.
Let's move to the website citinews.com. COVID-19 recoveries in Ghana now 294, while case count increases to 2,719. Also 18,475 teaching staff to be promoted after passing GES's aptitude test. Other stories: 19 Burkinabe arrested, repatriated for entering Ghana illegally. Citybusinessnews.com. Stimulus package won't protect all jobs. Ghana Employees Association Also, ADB's profit after tax drops by 36% in 2020 first quarter. And Passion Air to consider government support to sustain operations. Now, and also another story, the global COVID-19 cases global COVID-19 cases now over 3.5 million. If you go to myjoyonline.com, how to fetish priest murdered and buried a biochemist and others at their shrine. Also, the GMA has an interesting question. Are COVID-related deaths added to Ghana Health Service figures? Yeah. That's a question they're asking. Other comments, minority condemns alleged plot to gag employees of Gridco. And this story we heard on the City Breakfast News. Murder of Sogakope Assemblyman, not contract killing. Suspect confesses. Other stories, it's inhumane to compare coronavirus pandemic to doom so. Ato Forsen tells Bawumia. If you go to Star FM, $2.25 billion Eurobond, Oforiatta faces Supreme Court decision today. Also, Supreme Court to rule on suit against Ghana US military cooperation deal today. So, 2 key Supreme Court rulings or judgments today. And then, of course, the Bawumia Mahama story is trending. Mahama must read data before he speaks. Now, let me take you to the global scene. BBC, virus deaths pass 250,000 as countries lift curbs. Also, US to borrow record $3 trillion in pandemic spending. Now, there's another story here that will interest you guys. France's first coronavirus case was in, guess what? December. December. All right. And then I'll take you to other stories quickly across the world. CNN is leading with the price of reopening the US, tens of thousands of lives. Also, we're told there's a new social media platform called TikTok, winning over millennials and Instagram stars as its popularity explodes. But my favorite story on the international scene this morning is coming from the South China Morning Post, and this is the headline. Africa has a question for Beijing. Will you forgive us our debt? Africa has a question for Beijing. Will you forgive us our debt? A beautiful write-up, which I think if I have time, I'll go through. But let's start with our stories. Go ahead.
Okay, Bernard, do you want the power bill? I should tell you about this murdered pensioner story.
Either of them is fine.
Okay, let's start with the power bill relief takes effect. Sorry, on the front page from Timothy Nyangwe. Good morning, Timothy. The Electricity Company of Ghana has started implementing the 3-month electricity bill relief announced by the government to mitigate the impact of the coronavirus disease on customers. The final configuration of the company's prepayment systems was completed in the night of April 30, 2020, thereby paving the way for the electricity reliefs to kick in on May 1. This was disclosed to the Daily Graphic by the Chief Executive Officer of the company, Mr. Kwame Ajimambudu, in an interview. The Daily Graphic had gone to find out from the utility provider how it was implementing the social intervention directives given by the president. Daily Graphic just revealed that the utility company had rolled out the intervention program last Friday, but not without challenges, as some customers complained about not getting their benefits as promised. While some said they had received a relief package, others expressed disappointment because their benefits did not reflect. Some prepaid customers who spoke to the paper said although they had gone to vending points to purchase electricity, they did not see any such relief on their bills. They then go on to talk about the successful implementation. So while admitting that the implementation of the relief package had some initial challenges, Mr. Ajimambudu said it had largely been successful.
Now, from electricity to water, government starts supplying free water to Choco. Now, the story says the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, in collaboration with the Ghana Water Company Limited, is supplying 30,000 liters of water to residents of Choco in Accra on a daily basis till the end of June this year. The exercise formed part of the government's interventions to mitigate the spread of the coronavirus disease. Now, at the point where the polytanks were mounted, residents had massed up to fetch water without observing social distancing, while others had no face or nose masks on.
Now, let's give you the latest COVID-19 figures, because I think that's a big story.
Okay,
it came in
captured in the Finder, evening. Also on citinewsroom.com.
Go to Finder for me.
Ghana's confirmed cases of COVID-19 now is 2,719 as of yesterday. The number of dead remains 18, while the number of recoveries have moved from 229 to 294.
Okay.
The Greater Accra region has recorded 480 new COVID-19 cases, sending the region's tally to 2,332. A total of 70 new cases were from other regions. Now, the regional breakdown: Greater Accra 2,332, Ashanti region 124, Eastern 94, Central 38, Oti 23, Upper East 19, Volta 30 for Volta, Northern 13, Upper West 19, Western 21, Western North 4, and Northeast 2. So far,
so the 4 regions that don't have Savannah and the 3 Bono regions still don't have any case.
Yeah.
Now, the other headline is from the Volta region. The Health Directorate is enhancing testing after surge in cases. Now, it was 16, it jumped to 30. Stories by Ellen Dapa, CitiNewsroom.com. It says the Volta Regional Health Directorate is set to intensify testing in some selected areas in the Ketu South municipality following a spike in COVID-19 cases in Aflao. The border community, which initially recorded 9 cases, now has a total of 18, just Aflao. The 6 were travelers from Nigeria who had entered Ghana through unapproved routes along the Ghana-Togo border near Aflao. The Volta Regional Coordinating Council said in a statement, the Regional Director of Health in charge of Public Health, Dr. Senanu Jokoto, in a Citi News interview said the enhanced testing will give authorities a better view of the situation at Aflao. Now, still on testing, Western Region veterinary labs receive first batch of samples for testing. So we keep expanding the testing capacity. The Western Regional Veterinary Lab in Takoradi has taken delivery of a first batch of COVID-19 samples for testing. The 80 samples which came from Sekendi, Takoradi, Met, Efia, Kwesimintim, and Elembele district are expected to go through sorting, extraction, and master mixing for final results on Tuesday, which is today. The head of the Takoradi Vet Lab, Dr. Oliver Boachi Dankwa, told Citi News the lab has a capacity of testing 300 samples a day. This is really good. Takoradi Veterinary has had the support from the Canadian government for a while. They are the ones who provide us with the biosafety level 2 and 3 lab, and currently we are offering the facility to support the government testing for COVID-19. So this lab is now fully ready.
Okay.
Now I'm still running through COVID-19 stories.
Yes,
I have a few here.
So the GHS update says there are 13 cases in the northern region, right? Now, if you check the Finder page 4, northern region COVID-19 cases rise to 16. And Yaya Masaudi writes from Tamale that the northern region has recorded 3 additional cases of the novel coronavirus disease, bringing the regional total to 16. 2 of the cases, according to the Regional Health Directorate, were recorded in the Nanumba South District and 1 in the Tolon District.
Well,
so this is not surprising because the Volta Regional Minister told us there were 30 cases when the health service was reporting 16.
Yeah, Bernard, you read the headline about the Ghana Health Service and on deaths.
Let me give you that story.
Then I'll give you one on illegal.
So this is my job online. Are COVID-related deaths added to GHS figures? GMA asks. So Deputy General Secretary of Ghana Medical Association has called on the government to change certain strategies essential in understanding and containing the COVID-19 pandemic as the fight against the virus rages on. This comes on the back of some 480 new COVID-19 cases announced by the Ghana Health Service. These new cases and 70 from other regions have pushed Ghana's total to 2719. The service says 65 more people have recovered from the disease, increasing the tally to 294. Now, the graphical representation of this information on the GHS website also indicates that the death toll remains at 18.
Okay.
But Dr. Titus Bayu is skeptical as to whether the web portal reflects the differences in the nature of the deaths recorded so far. Here's his quote. I think that while we keep our eyes on the figures that are popping up and analyzing them, non-COVID deaths are another aspect that we have to be looking at. In hospitals, out of hospitals, and then the associated factors. When the facilities are reporting, we really need to go into it. What defines COVID-related death? A quiz on PM Express. Acknowledging the complexity in what he describes as collateral damage in the fight against COVID-19, a virologist of the UST, Michael Owusu, said, we need to weigh this against the baseline number of deaths that usually occur, so we don't overly extrapolate this and say that because of the COVID situation, we have had quite a number of deaths. So I think the confusion was about whether they are keeping an eye on other kinds of deaths, and also whether I don't know what he means by COVID related, as in.
Well, you see, there's an issue here. I understand that some of the hospitals have decided to do a backtrack and test
all deaths
to
see if there was a COVID connection.
If there was a COVID connection.
So are they saying that only people who present with COVID and die are reported as 18?
That is what.
Whereas that if somebody is brought already dead, you may want to do a post-mortem to check.
Exactly.
Why does it? But it doesn't say.
He doesn't say so. But I'm saying
whether he suspects that the figures are.
No, not at all. I'm saying that is what I have picked up.
Okay.
Anyway, let me tell you about what is happening elsewhere.
Okay.
Now in Sekendi Takoradi, Doche Kobla Aklobot reports that 17 Burkinabes, one Ivorian illegal immigrant arrested. That says that a combined team of officials from the Ghana Migration Service and the Bureau of National Investigations have arrested 17 Burkinabes and one Ivorian who entered the country illegally through Sewum in the Alwen municipality, in spite of the fact that Ghana's borders are closed. The 18 West African nationals were on board 2 Nizam minibuses heading to Kumasi in the Ashanti region. The arrest of the 18 brings to 190 the number of people who have been intercepted and repatriated by the Ghana Migration Service in the Western region through intensified surveillance patrols and with the support of the various sister security agencies since the closure of the country's borders. Now, staying on that same page, Bernard, is this story, Bernard. The murdered pensioner was biochemist. This is the fetish priest story.
Okay.
The pensioner who went missing and whose body was later found buried behind a shrine at Mami Dede, a village near Adeso in the eastern region, has been identified as Mr. Edward Koti Papafio, a 64-year-old biochemist consultant resident at Kaswa in the central region. Wow. The other dead body retrieved from the shrine of 2 fetish priests last Friday was that of one Kwesi Zomelo, also a resident of Kaswa. The 2 fetish priests, Christian Gameli Lawe, alias Pa, age 36, and famous Adukunu, alias Scorpion, age 37, hail from Afife in the Volta region, but are residents of Mami Dede. Did I say it well?
Afife.
Okay. Afife.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Now, at a press briefing organized by the CID of the Ghana Police Service to throw more light on the developments, the Director General of the CID, COP, Mr. Edward Kenyabwa, said a further search conducted by the police team also revealed 2 pump-action guns, a single-barreled gun, together with 11 packets full of cartridges. And listeners can get the Daily Graphic, page 13, for the full details. It's a really, really sad story. Daily Guide also has pictures and others.
Okay, let me give you more stories. All 7 COVID-19 patients at Kolebu recover, discharged. That is the good news coming from Kolebu. And the chief executive says the discharged patients, 7 in all, included a nurse, an orderly, a doctor, and a security officer. And he has indicated that those discharged should serve as ambassadors in the campaign to dispel stigma against patients of COVID-19. Now, if you check the center spread of the Ghanaian Times, I'm going to give you a Baumia story, but before that, Kaneshi Polyclinic staff protest against the lack of PPE.
So they didn't attend to pregnant women
Yes.
for some time yesterday.
Yes, and that story is here. Now, let me give you...
No, just give us the details.
Okay, the story by Abigail Ano says, scores of expectant mothers attending antenatal clinic at the Kaneshi Polyclinic in Accra yesterday were left stranded as the staff refused to work for the lack of personal protective equipment. According to the staff, though the hospital had been supplied with locally manufactured PPE, they felt unsafe using them as they could not vouch for the efficacy to protect them against the COVID-19.
So they said they wanted N95s.
Yes, so...
because they are exposed.
Now, to the vice president, he's on almost all the front pages this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Government shows leadership in managing the economy. Vice President Baumia. The story says the Vice President Muhammadu Baumia on Monday said the government is showing better leadership skills in managing the economy and alleviating the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian against the COVID-19 crisis. According to him, if anyone wants to test the robustness of an economy, it should be tested in times of crisis. Baumia said, adding that available data indicated that the leadership of President Akufo-Addo in crisis management was better than that of his predecessor. And he went on to mention various data points to make his point.
That story is on the front page of several newspapers. The Daily Statesman says, stop embarrassing yourself, Baumia just Maham over uninformed statements on economy. And according to the story, Dr. Baumia said that since President Akufo-Addo took over the running of the country in 2017, his government had been able to transform the mess it inherited from former President Mahama's government, stating that data on all economic indicators buttress his point.
But there are some reactions. If you go to Star FM, don't compare Doomsor to COVID-19. It's inhumane. Atuforsen to Baumia says former Deputy Finance Minister Kazil Atuforsen has admonished the Vice President not to compare the current COVID-19 pandemic to the electricity crisis, saying it is inhumane to do that. In a Facebook post, Mr. Atuforsen stated that comparing a pandemic to an energy situation that occurred because the MPP government failed to invest in power generation over an 8-year period only reflects the confusion that characterizes his recent pronouncements. Now, there's another trending response on social media purportedly from Professor Kwame Nkrumah. I haven't heard that interview, but they've cut it to say this is a terrible political judgment. We are in the middle of a crisis. You don't know how it is going to end, yet you are comparing it with a crisis that was managed and resolved more than 4 years ago. Besides, how do you compare a crisis whose cost is calculated in terms of human life with a crisis whose cost is calculated in loss of material production. And if it does not amount to political politicization of the pandemic, what does? So that story is doing pretty well on social media.
Yeah.
Two quick Supreme Court headlines. Supreme Court rule on suit against US-Ghana military cooperation deal today. That story is on starnews.com. And then also another ruling, Kenoforiata 2.25 billion euro bond. A 7-member panel of the Supreme Court, presided by Chief Justice Anini Yabua, will deliver a judgment in the suit against the Finance Minister Kenoforiata on the issuance of a $2.25 million bond.
Okay, let me take you to a story which a lot of people are paying attention to in the construction sector. Steel products wholesalers, retailers fight price increase by manufacturers. Max Olofori writes for the Chronicle that wholesalers and retailers of steel products, including iron rods, have expressed disgust over the failure of manufacturers of steel to cut the prices of their products as the government has reduced electricity by 50%. The wholesalers and retailers have described as unacceptable, selfish and unpatriotic the increase in prices of steel products by the 7 manufacturing companies operating in Ghana. The companies B5 Plus, Ferro Fabrics, United Steel, Tema Steel, St. Joe Steel, Fabri Metal, and Ryder Steel have in a communication to wholesalers and retailers indicated that an adjustment in the prices of mild steel had already been effected. This latest increment, however, comes on the back of the President's announcement of a 50% reduction in electricity cost for all businesses and individuals above the poverty line, among other measures to cushion the country against the impact of the coronavirus pandemic.
Now, I want to give you 2 quick stories. One is quite interesting. This is BBC. Coronavirus, France's first known case was in December. Something that we said started in January in China.
Man, a lot of countries are trying to track back.
Yeah, a patient diagnosed with pneumonia near Paris on 27 December actually had the coronavirus. His doctor has said. Dr. Yves Cohen told French media a swab taken at the time was recently tested and it came back positive for COVID-19. In fact, you know, Sames put a post
on
that
this flu
some time ago. He had some condition which people say the condition seemed like corona. A lot of people were corroborating that sometime around December they had things that, of course, we didn't know corona existed, so it wasn't tested for. Now, this news means that the virus may have arrived in France almost a month earlier than previously thought. Until now, the country's 3 first cases were confirmed on 24 January. Of those, 2 had been to Wuhan in China, where the outbreak was first detected, and the 3rd was a close family member. But this person whose test was taken in December, it was only recently that swab was tested to find that it was COVID-19. Then if you go to Hong Kong, their lead story there is that African countries want debt relief from China. And the question is whether Beijing will respond. There's a long write-up. It says African states expect a devastating impact on their economies this year from the coronavirus pandemic and are appealing for relief from repayments of billions of dollars in outstanding debt to cope. Most of those appeals involve China, the biggest lender to the continent, but it's unclear how Beijing will respond. Then it starts giving examples. Angola, Zambia, Sudan, Republic of Congo are among those seeking relief, arguing that they need to reallocate funds to healthcare and equipping hospitals to fight the coronavirus, which has infected 3.5 million people across the world. Now, Africa was largely spared in the early days of the outbreak, but cases this weekend had jumped to more than 44,000 with 1,771 dead. And then they do the analysis of where the pressure is coming from. There's a lot more coming up. Join the show proper. Thank you, gentlemen. Coming up next is the Citi Business News.
What does extra mean to you?
Extra means child data.
More minutes to talk to my loved ones.
Data that doesn't expire.
More